Hi, my name is Josie, and I will be discussing the steps that I took in the Harvard Business Simulation. In this simulation, there is first a Prepare tab here at the beginning. This shows you how to go about doing the simulation, gives you steps, and explains what kind of CEO you will be and the company you'll be working for, which is Minnesota Micromotors. Here at the bottom is a playlist of customers that you have, and it explains their wants and needs. So segment A is a loyal customer. They need high power to size ratios. They feel they have a close relationship with the Minnesota Micromotor team. They are not price sensitive. Segment B needs high-speed motors and high thermal resistance. They are willing to pay more money if it means a more efficient motor. They are mostly loyal. Segment C needs high power to size ratio and high thermal resistance. They are not willing to compromise performance, and the motor's price is not the most important purchase criteria. So that means they are not price sensitive. But if they find any mistakes, they will take their business elsewhere. Segment D, because of economical issues. Segment D needs lower prices because their purchasers are expecting lower prices. They buy in large quantities. There is also a segment for smaller companies, and they buy directly from a distributor that we use. Now I will go on to talk about the rest of the tabs in this simulation. Here is the dashboard overview. This shows you segment share, quarterly revenue, unit sales, micromotor profit margin, average prices, and spending on features. All of these are very important to look at every time you do something different for each quarter, and I will go into that in detail further in a little bit. The next tab here is net prices. This shows how much each segment is paying, also the competitors' prices. The next tab is customer purchases. I utilized customer purchases frequently to see how many times they increased their purchases. Here is the graph view, and I liked to look at the view data. Here you can see exactly how much each segment bought for each quarter. Hopefully they were all increasing in time. The next tab is sales. Sales shows you how many sales are being done from your large customers, which is from your large new customers, which is the light orange here, and then sales from existing customers, which is the dark orange. Hopefully this will be increasing throughout your time. This is the small customers, the dark blue being existing customers and the light blue being new customers. Small customers were not as important to me as the larger customers, even though they are still a crucial part. Their amount of purchases they made were not as crucial to my revenue and profits. The next tab is the income statement, which I also frequently looked at. This shows you your total revenue, gross margin, total operating expenses, net income, and cumulative profits. Here it shows that I ended with $8.2 million. Market research and product performance. This just shows you how your performance has increased over the quarters and how your competitors have increased over the quarter. Customer satisfaction was extremely important in my play of the simulation. I utilized their reviews as much as possible. Each segment has different wants and needs, so according to their concerns and or complaints, I adjusted the decisions that I would make each quarter to help ensure they got what they wanted and needed. And then last, here's the Salesforce report, which is how many hours per segment by percentage that I gave to each segment. Now, back to net prices. The pricing strategy you use is very important. It is not necessarily a good idea to change your pricing methods due to your competitors' prices. They may not have the same expenses you have, or they could even be in a desperate place, and the only way they can survive is by decreasing their price. For my CEO scenario, I raised my list price to $150, but I also increased my price-sensitive customers' discount percentage. I also lowered the discount rate for my clients who are not price-sensitive. The outcome of me raising my price and adjusting my discounts made my profits and revenues spike up and then slowly taper off into a constant small rise of profitability. This is shown in a good example in the dashboard overview under my profit margin section. In the simulation, I made sure to keep consistency with my channels, such as my distributor. I gave my distributors a high discount so that I would satisfy my smaller customers who need to go through distributors instead of directly through us. This helped me internally because it kept my smaller customers happy. Therefore, it kept them coming back and purchasing larger quantities in the quarters as the quarters went on. This is shown in my customer satisfaction, knowing that they were happy. They were consistently happy, very satisfied every single quarter. And then I also could see their purchases increase over time over here on the side. Using the marketing and financial metrics helped me analyze my performance. For example, looking at my quarterly revenue helped me compare my performance from the previous quarter. If my revenue was increasing, I knew that I was on the right track. If it was stagnant, I might want to make some changes. And if it was decreasing, I definitely needed to make some changes. My profit margin showed me if my profit margin showed me if my revenue from sales were exceeding my costs. Profit margin is here again. Here's the quarterly revenue. Segment share allowed me to see how my competitors were doing, and unit sales and average pricing showed me the financial behavior of my customers. Including my small customers. The spending on features section showed me my timeline of the amount of money I put forth for my equipment. I did not want to raise my list price much higher for fear of losing some of my customers, so I did not want to continuously raise the cost of my features. The customer satisfaction tool really helped me make a lot of my decisions, like I mentioned earlier, because the customer's wants and needs are what is important. Every quarter I would check my customer satisfaction reviews and make appropriate adjustments to my choices to keep them happy and coming back. For example, if a customer was unhappy with my sales reps, I would increase their time spent on that customer. The Salesforce report shows the customer's opinion on their force amount. And I'll go over that again as I showed you. Here's the customer satisfaction. Sometimes segment B would complain about not having enough time with my sales reps, so I would go to the Salesforce report and increase the percentage of time that I spent with them. And that always ended up making them happy. Moving on, paying attention to and appreciating the relationships among customer satisfaction, customer buying patterns, customer loyalty, and firm profitability helps set the direction of strategy in the long run because it prepares you to make decisions that will fit future customers' wants and needs, but will also help you keep the loyal and happy customers you already have obtained. I think that the Harvard Business Simulation was a fun activity to experience and a nice outlook on what kind of numbers and situations a CEO of any company will most likely deal with. If I were to suggest some helpful changes to the simulation, I would have a section of definitions and explanations of all the parts of the simulation and the dashboard review section. Thank you for listening.